Welcome to Bayard Park. Founded in 1893, this neighborhood is one of the first planned land developments here in Evansville, Indiana. Bayard Park is unique in that it is listed on the National Register of Historic Places due to the abundance of classically styled homes in the area, such as Queen Anne cottages, American four-square houses, early American and English Revival style houses. The homes in this area are just a sample of Evansville's rich architectural history. But what happens when houses like these are left to disrepair and abandoned? Should they be destroyed to make way for modern buildings? Or can they be repurposed and reused by the modern family? We're going to find out.
Hi, I'm Corey Hopkins, and I'm here today with EVSC Community Link. Over the next several months, we will be witnessing the reconstruction of this old house. We will also discover the historical significance of this house and the neighborhood. We're here today at 807 East Chandler, and I'm here today with Dennis Au. Thanks for meeting with me.
Glad to be here.
Can you tell me exactly how you got started with this project?
Well, I'm the city's historic preservation officer, and this house in this neighborhood is on the National Register of Historic Places. And one of my responsibilities is overseeing these National Register districts and activities such as renovations that are paid for with federal money in those districts. So that's how I became involved with this.
What was the reason for choosing this house in this particular neighborhood?
Well, number one, this neighborhood is one of the historic neighborhoods in Evansville. It's the Bayard Park Historic Neighborhood. Obviously, there are some homes that need some help. This is one of them. The city received it from HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Agency of the federal government. We received it for $1, and it was in very good condition.
How much does it cost to model a house like this?
Well, that depends on what needs to be done. This one will probably cost between $250,000 and $300,000. That's because there's a lot of actual labor involved. We're not talking as much about materials, but time spent on the renovation.
Can you describe this architecture of this house?
Yes, it's an American four-square. It's very typical of the houses that were built in Evansville in the early 20th century. As an American four-square, you can see it has a very square, boxy shape. It's 2 stories tall. The roof is a hip roof or a pyramidal shape. Another feature of a four-square house is a very generous porch. The porch goes all the way across the front of the house, and of course, these houses were built in the days before air conditioning. And also, as part of the style, it has a very broad eaves. It's a very well-proportioned house. It's a good house for someone to raise a family in.
Speaking of the family, do you know any history behind this house?
It was built between 1911 and 1912, and the first occupants were Mr. and Mrs. Albert Horn. His wife's name was Catherine. Mr. Horn founded the Atlas Box Company in 1907, and they produced cigar boxes for the Fendrick Cigar Company here in Evansville.
So why is it important to save this house?
Well, it's an important part of the Bayard Park neighborhood. If you take a look around you on the streets, there are many other fine houses like this. And if this one's gone, it's a hole in the neighborhood. And we'd like to do what we can to support the fine architecture here. And indeed, I would hope that the people of the city would take a second look at the Bayard Park area. It's a beautiful part of the city, and it deserves some help.
Well, thank you for meeting with me today and sharing your information on this particular house, and I'd like to see the finished product.
We're anxious for that too.
I'm the principal of Efficient Energy Technologies. We're a design and build consulting firm. I'm the project manager for this project. I designed all the changes to the house, or the majority of the changes to the house that had to do with energy efficiency. And I'm making sure that the designs that we put into the project are actually being constructed the way I intended. We've been working on this project for better part of a year. So there's a lot of upfront work, a lot of design work involved in, first of all, you have to do an analysis of the existing situation, and then knowing what the problems are, come up with solutions. And we're using a number of innovative technologies in this project that have not been used around here before, or at least not widely used. And we're going to be anxious to see how the project, the energy reductions work out. But you know, it's not just utility bills. This was a cold, drafty house. We put a blower door on the front door, and a blower door basically is a device that sucks all the air out of the house. And what you do is you depressurize the house to find out where the leaks are. Well, we had a blower door test of 14,400. To put that into context, a new site-built house might be 1,200. So 14,400 tells you there are a lot of leaks. That's going to be difficult to fix completely. It's an old house, but it's not just energy efficiency, it's comfort. This is all of a sudden going to become a comfortable house to live in. Basically, this house is going to be a styrofoam cooler. And if you could imagine the environment on the inside of a styrofoam cooler, you can keep it warm or cold pretty easily because you've got tremendous insulation. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to surround the basement, the foundation, the walls, and the attic with styrofoam, essentially, with a sprayed-on foam. And we're going to be able to control the temperature extremely well.
I'm with High Construction. This morning or this afternoon we have a water issue in the basement. So what we want to do is try to get the water away from the basement as much as possible. And we've already put drains underneath to let the downspouts drain away from the house. And now what we're doing is putting soil down around the home, slaying it away from the house to let the water shed away from the basement wall. This being a brick foundation wall, which isn't really done anymore, you have all these mortar joints, gives plenty of area for the water to seep through the basement wall. Also, the water table in this area is really high, of course, because we're close to the river. So you have an issue when anytime it rains, that water level comes up in the ground, and that water just wants to seep through. So as long as the basement's wet, then we're going to have an issue. When it dries out, we're going to have mold and things like that, which can make people sick. So we want to keep the mold issue and the water issue out of the basement. Something like this, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do it from the outside, then you got to dig all the way around the whole house. And they use what they call hydrocide or a mastic product, something that they trowel into the side of the house, and it's a waterproof barrier. In this particular case, we may have to go in and trench in the basement and give somewhere for the water to go, along with a drain system and a sump pump. Due to the condition of the basement wall and the water issue, to get the water drained away from the house properly and get the basement dry, it could take about 3 to 4 weeks to do.
Today, I'm just showing you the location. The furnace would be setting here. It would eventually tie into this. This is the supply duct. This is the return duct. We'll have a drop that will attach to this. Then you have your flex runs that comes off of it. That will supply your registers and condition the rooms that they're running to. Just this system alone is going to take approximately 2 weeks from start to finish. From making the duct, installing the duct, setting the equipment, and tying all your tie-in fittings, I'd guesstimate about 2 weeks. And this is just basically like doing a new home. The only difference is we've torn everything out and started with an old home. We still had to cut register holes. We, still basically done from start to finish on this system. This is going to be a 95% high efficiency unit. The other one was 80%. It piped right into the chimney. This one will have PVC vents opposed to the metal vent. The furnace captures all of the heat and uses it opposed to sending half of it up through your chimney or out through your flue.
So now we're going to insulate the basement walls, and hopefully we won't have any more moisture or humidity issues with this house. But then the most significant thing is we're going to condition the attic. We're going to take, instead of putting insulation on the flooring, let's say of the attic, we're going to put it on the underside of the roof decking between the rafters. And that'll mean that you don't have a hot attic or a cold attic. Your attic's going to be the same temperature as any other room in the house. If you think about a conventional house, the second story on a hot summer day, if you've got conventional insulation, that second floor, those rooms are hot generally because your attic is 150 degrees. Well, that won't happen here. We're going to keep the heat outside of the house. We're on the third floor now, which is the attic, and we'll be turning this area into what's called a conditioned space so that it'll be the same temperature as the rest of the house. Our goal here in the attic, and it's a 900 square foot attic, is to use half of the attic for the HVAC and supply lines, and then give the homeowner the other half of the attic for storage space.
What we started with so far was, the first thing we did was take out this chimney all the way down to this level, and we may take it out further down to the floor so we could use that space. But the chimney is no longer going to be required because we're going to have 90% efficiency furnaces which pipe directly out with PVC. Mostly the floorboards here are for putting in the heating and air system so that it's flush with the floor. We can go right back over the floor and you can walk on it instead of pipes dragging out all over the attic. Around the perimeter of the building, we took out the floor mostly for the foam. We're going to put insulated foam throughout the entire attic and between all the joists and rafters.
This is the most significant energy efficient feature in the house. It contributes more than any other single feature to making this house energy efficient. We're stockpiling all of the trim that we've removed, baseboard trim and the trim around doors, and we'll actually strip this, and we intend to reuse most of this trim, but you cannot find wood like this any longer. This is old growth oak and pine, and it's absolutely gorgeous wood, so we're doing everything we can to save it and reuse it.
Today we're removing the stain and varnish from the trim in the restoration of this old home. What is going to happen is it's going to be clear coated with clear stain, and we've been working on this house. Today is the 7th day, and today is going to be our last day other than fine tuning, going back and just kind of re-wiping some of the trouble spots. But after on the 7th day, we're going to have all the varnish stain removed, hopefully like this.
Like, for example, at the front door, we're taking the glass out of there and we're replacing it with much more energy efficient glass. We'll take the doors down, we'll clean them completely, refinish them, and we'll put them back up. We want to save everything original that we possibly can. So this is an example of a reused space. This used to be a closet, so the wall would have been right here. And what we've done is, coming from the master bedroom, we've opened this closet, and there was a closet here as well for this bedroom. We've opened this corridor up, and this now will become the master bathroom, and this will be a walk-in closet. So the house originally had 1 bathroom and 4 bedrooms, and it was a very tiny bathroom. So this will be a nice improvement to the livability of this house.
My name is Giovanni Rivera, and I'm the owner of Rivera Construction. Today, we're just finishing up doing foam injections. I have my crew out there drilling holes on each cavity, and we're gonna inject open cell foam, which is a slow-rise foam that expands inside the cavity of the wall. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill 1-inch holes about 3 feet apart from each other. And what I do with my thermal imaging camera is make sure that each cavity is getting expanded right to the right ratio, make sure that everything is getting covered.
My name is Thomas Coe. I'm the Executive Director of Hope of Evansville. Hope is a nonprofit housing counseling agency and housing developer. We started with the city about a year ago and with this project. They acquired the property through their normal acquisition process, and they were looking for a partner to help them in the renovation and rehabilitation of this property. It's a historic home, so that presented quite a few challenges for us, and was really one of our first rehab projects that we've undertaken. As the developer, we work primarily with the general contractor, getting the bid process, putting the specs together for the contract, overseeing the construction, and then making sure those bills get paid. And then we are responsible for selling the property once it's finished. The project's been very much of a challenge from a number of different perspectives. The fact that it's old age is number one, and some of the old systems are just simply worn out and need to be replaced, but yes, the basic structure is in good shape. We also, it was important for us to preserve the historical nature of the house, and we tried to do that both from a cost standpoint and a preservation standpoint. But we tried to compromise in as many areas as we could and tried to blend those things together to make a good, useful home for the modern day family.
We've accomplished a lot. We've transformed the energy profile of the house, making it one of the most energy efficient 100-year-old homes in the city of Evansville. In a house that had absolutely no insulation whatsoever, we've taken it to a house that is superbly insulated. A house that had a $1,000 energy bill probably is going to be in the $250 to $300 range. We've taken old leaky windows and tightened them up, and we now have windows that are not cold and drafty. Of course, we changed all the utilities in the house. The heating, air conditioning, and ventilation system now is incredibly efficient. Well, of course, we did face a few problems. We didn't anticipate having to waterproof the basement the way we did. There was a coating on the walls, and once that was removed, we found that the basement walls were leaking water, and so we had to spend quite a bit of money repairing the basement walls. When we re-decked the front porch, we found that the porch had no foundation. We had to completely rebuild the front porch. Both of these items added a considerable amount to the cost of the house. Every surface on the outside was covered with lead paint, which has to be encapsulated, and that was quite a detailed, expensive process for our lead abatement company. We came in close to budget, little over budget due to the basement wall issue and having to rebuild the porch. I think we anticipated what the costs were going to be, and we're relatively close to being on budget. That's always good in a project like this. We had expert carpenters, we had a good paint crew, other trades that contributed significantly to the quality of this house we're very proud of.
After several months of hard work and construction, we returned to the house on 807 East Chandler with Mr. Thomas Coe to see the finished product.
One of the objectives we had from this project from the very beginning was to blend the old and historic nature of the house with the new features that homeowners like to have today. Homeowners look for certain features and certain amenities, and we want to try to provide that as much as we could, and yet keep the historic nature of the home and the integrity of the historic features as well. In this room, we tried to do as little as we could in the sense that we liked the way the rooms were set up. So other than repair and refinishing, there wasn't a whole lot done here. In other words, we didn't move rooms, we didn't add walls or move walls or anything like that in this particular area. You can see the old mirror and frame around that mirror, which was pretty indicative of architecture and styles in those days. You had the double French doors that go out to the porch. A lot of the framework around that was redone and again tried to match. All the woodwork was redone, the floors were refinished. We've added ceiling fans, kept the original windows but refinished those as well. This is basically the dining room, which was probably the original dining room when it was first built. Got 3 large windows on the west side, which got in a lot of natural light. Got some very large, huge oak finished doors that if you had to be built today would be a fortune. This is the kitchen, and this was probably the most challenging room that we had in the project. As you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors in the corners of this kitchen and 2 large windows in a relatively small area. That made the design extremely challenging to try to fit in all the features that most people want in a kitchen these days and yet have something that was functional and even attractive. And it took us a long time. We saw a lot of different designs, but I think both the design team and the contractor did a great job, and it's very functional, it's very attractive. The island here becomes a bar on this side of it, so it does become an eat-in kitchen, so you can have stools here at the bar and eat right here. And it's got the dishwasher, the garbage disposal, the new stove, smooth top stove, microwave built in. We thought long and hard about removing these steps, which again is the other side of the living room here and goes upstairs, but because of the character that brings to the house, because of the fact that was probably there originally when the house was built, we just thought it was such a neat feature we probably should leave it in. And if somebody is attracted to the house because of its historic nature, that's probably one of the features that they would want to see kept. Just outside the kitchen here was the butler's pantry, and again that was probably built originally when the house was constructed, and we refinished that, and it gives extra storage for the owner, as well as helps us to blend in that historic nature and the new modern conveniences of today's home. This is a part of the house that we probably did the most reconfiguration of as far as moving and adding walls. This whole area, this whole section of the house was totally redone to make it, again, more amenable to today's modern family. The home has a total of 3 bedrooms, very functional, and we did carpet up here because we felt that was probably more conducive to what most people want to see in bedrooms, and carried that out to this room here. Ceramic tile in the bathroom, and in the bathroom, master bathroom as well. Master bedroom then we opened up the back wall there so that became a walk-in closet leading to a full private master bath on the other side. So again, that pretty much fits in with today's homes. Again, the end result of this was always to find a family or a household that wanted to own it and live in it and enjoy it. Right now, we've got the house listed for sale with a realtor, and so we're hoping that we'll find somebody very soon that wants to live in this home and enjoy it and love it as much as we did doing it.
This has been a Bulldog production.